What's happening, everybody? I'm John Ryan from IGN here with my good friend and Metal Gear cohort, Vincent Janito.
Hey!
How's it going, Vince?
Doing good, buddy. How are you?
I'm really good. Now, we're looking at the FOB, the forward operating base stuff, basically managing it and what
You
it
might
takes
be looking
to
at that.
do
I'm looking at a dog.
Well, you're looking at a dog right now. We are going to be looking at that. So why don't we pop up on our iDroid?
Cool.
So for those unfamiliar, FOB is a forward operating base. It's basically the multiplayer version or multiplayer component to Metal Gear Solid 5: Phantom Pain.
Correct.
And Vince, this is a super in-depth system that I know almost nothing about.
Yeah, it's really in depth. It's super good. I really love what they've done with it. It'd be nice if it was a little more stable than it is right now.
Yeah,
but,
well, that's kind of why I don't know anything about it, is
sure.
because the servers have been down for the last couple of days.
Yeah, I've gotten a bunch of matches actually because it hasn't always been down. But yeah, it is definitely a little bit tough to get into. So
It seems like even when I go online, they still have messages being like, "Hey, guess what? Servers are gonna be down tomorrow for maintenance."
yeah, no, it's been a lot. But let's dig into what this mode is and what it does. So. Here is the security settings page, which is an important one. So this is where you can look at. Basically, I can go through a log here of attacks that have been made on my base.
Yep.
So we're seeing this defense against Orion Omega.
Orion Omega. Oh no.
Yeah, he messed me up.
He killed some guy.
Yep. And this is cool. It shows you a log of where they went. It kind of gives you like a heat map, sort of like where they went, what they did.
It's like the play-by-play from like Evolve or something.
Exactly.
Where you can see the path of destruction that whoever is attacking you is wrought.
Absolutely. It's just like that. It's just like that. So from here, I can also jump in and I can choose different platforms. Right now, I just have this one, just my command platform on my first FOB. So we'll jump in here and take a look at the settings. Now, this is important to understand the difference between the basic settings and advanced settings. You would think that these are the same settings, except one of them applies them. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is exactly actually as you would think it is. Basic settings are very simple. All you do is you say, hey, every time someone invades, this is how much money I want to spend on defending.
Each per defense.
Yeah, per defense.
So it's not like you pay, let's say you want the highest level of rank. So it's not like you pay $260,000 one time and then just forever your base is super well defended. It's each time someone invades you, you're going to spend 260 grand to make sure that you have the best possible defense.
That seems to be the way it works. It's all some of this. I'll say, like, I love FOB, but some of it is a little bit tough
muddled.
Yeah, it's a little muddled. Yeah, it's a little not as transparent as it could be. But I believe that's how much I'm going to assume right now, based on everything that I've seen, that's the amount you're spending every time, which means that defending your base can get very expensive.
Yeah, I mean that's $250,000 each time somebody shows up.
Right, and even if that's just daily. Or that's a lot.
I mean that's 4 or 5 research projects.
Right, or even if that's what you have to pay every time you fail, but you don't pay it if you succeed.
Yeah.
Still, it costs. All that stuff costs money. All right, so here's where it can be a little bit confusing. Once you go into the advanced settings, it gives you the options for all decks or first deck. Again, you would think that this would be the same options, except one of them applies it globally to all your decks.
Right. Now your FOB right now only has the one platform.
I only have
correct?
the one platform, exactly. I haven't done a lot of leveling up of my FOB yet. But if you go into all decks, you'll see that you have settings for weapon type, which you can switch between lethal and non-lethal. So that kind of will determine whether or not guards will equip non-lethal versions of the weapons that you're denoting.
Right
to
now,
use.
Is it possible to capture somebody else? I don't think that's a thing that
you can't permanently capture them, but you can Fulton them if you
Interesting.
Yeah, you can absolutely Fulton them if you knock them out. I don't know what the actual incentive for that is.
Shame.
Shame for sure, for bragging rights, absolutely. Is attaching your enemy to a balloon is always
exactly.
good. But yeah, so there's that, and then you get to also determine what the overall guard rank range is going to be for the guards that you want. Basically, the maximum guard rank that you want used on your base. I've put S for mine. And then
now this will pull. That's going to pull guards from your security team, which you unlock after you open the first FOB training mission.
Correct. So it doesn't just pull from your security team. Actually, in actuality, it pulls from your entire combat unit as a whole, because the security team is considered a subdivision of the combat unit.
Right.
What the The reason you want to put guys into your defense team, though, is because the higher the rating of the defense team, it unlocks certain research projects that you wouldn't normally have. But we'll get into that in a minute. So yeah, I can determine the security device grade and equipment grade. So basically, it's like, you know how you have assault rifles of different kinds. Hey, there's a grade 1, a grade 3, a grade 4. This determines like what's the
level of
maximum
equipment
grade
they have.
Exactly. So if I have my guys using like a particular submachine gun or particular AR, if I have this down to 1, they'll only use the grade 1 version.
If you haven't developed that.
If I haven't developed, whereas if I put it up to 3, it'll then use the grade 3 version. So you want to be careful with this, because if you're like, yeah, I want grade 5 stuff, well, guess what? You're paying a lot of extra money
for stuff that
for security, but you might not have grade 5 stuff to use, so you're wasting money. So yeah, make sure that if you do pump this up, that you actually have equipment of that level that you want to use.
For.
Yeah. So then there's the range type, which is close, mid, and long, and this actually determines what kinds of weapons they're going to generally use. So mid range is going to be stuff like ARs, close range is going to be, machine guns and stuff.
Yeah, so since you only have the one platform, you don't necessarily want to give them all long range. But you don't want everyone walking around with a sniper rifle if they've only got like 2 hallways to walk down.
Absolutely. That's going to play into how you position your guys as well, which we'll get into in a second. So yeah, generally mid-range is really good. Long range is going to use sniper rifles and rocket launchers, things like that. Close range, more SMGs and shotguns, which can be very disruptive. But in any case, these options are actually exclusive to when you're looking at the all platforms section of the advanced settings. So all decks. If you go into first deck or at one specific deck, you still have these options, which were already in the old one, which is you get to determine how many out of a maximum you place of each of these different resources. So you've got guards, and then you've got, after the guards, you've got a number of different equipment pieces. And this is not stuff that you've stolen in the field, by the way. This is not like
this is stuff that you've developed.
Exactly. These are not your gun emplacements. The gun emplacements, mortars, those are placed automatically. And if they get stolen from you, then they
you have to go back and get more.
They get replenished from your stock, and if you don't have stock of them, then you won't have them on your map.
Gotcha.
But these are more things you actually have to develop, and then once you develop them, you determine how many you want to use. And of course, the more you use, obviously, the more secure you're going to be, but the more you use it, also the more money it costs you. So right now, I actually haven't developed anti-theft security cameras or any kind of UAVs. I did just develop infrared sensors. So I'm using 2 of those. And then most interestingly, I think the coolest part of this is this part right here, the key security zones. So I can actually choose which zones are going to be kind of like the top priorities in on my base.
So like if you say, I want zone F to be priority number 1, that's where most of your guards will go. That's where a bunch of your equipment will get laid out.
Yes, it's gonna you don't get to precisely place things in this,
right?
Which I kind of like to a degree, because I wouldn't want to spend all that time micromanaging everything about it, because that's just such a.
But you can give general areas, like I want a couple of security cameras and maybe a mine over here.
Yep. And this is where looking at your failed defense log can really help, because right now, as that failed defense log is playing, I'm seeing the path the person took through my base, and that kind of informs for me, like, oh, the people are generally spawning on this side, and they're taking this route, so hey, this is how I'll cover it. So I think that's really smart that you get to do that you get to get that granular with it. So this is just the settings, the defense settings.
Let's take a look at, you mentioned that you can develop some items.
Yes, you can.
So let's have a look at what you can develop specifically for the FOB stuff, because I'm assuming that it's different than your traditional
It is. It's a different
stuff.
arm. So you go under development, you look at security devices, and then you're going to be treated to like kind of a very similar menu that you've seen before. Everything is graded. Interesting to note, you might notice, this is another important thing, there are no grade 1 or 2 security devices.
So if you select grade 1 or 2 security, that just means all you're going to have on that platform is guards.
Exactly. So that's an important thing to think about when you're budgeting out, like how you want to protect your base. If you want to use any of this stuff, you need to have at least grade 3 made available. So yeah, here's the IR sensors. Anti-theft device. This is something that if someone tries to Fulton away one of your pieces of equipment, it'll actually create an alert so that people can see that's happening.
And what are the requirements for that one again, or the surveillance camera, for example?
So the requirements here, obviously a certain amount of GMP, which I don't have right now because I'm poor.
And then what happened?
I know. Dude.
I was so rich.
I was really rich, and then I started unlocking a lot of the non-lethal gear, specifically that you can give to your dudes, actually,
Gotcha.
on the FOB, which I'm going to show that in a second. So yeah, you can see my R&D team needs to be up at a certain level, which I have that requirement. But there you see the security team requirement that I was talking about before, and this is the main reason why you want to allocate dudes off of your main combat unit to the security unit, because even though it's the same pool of people, upgrading the level of your security team is what allows you to unlock a lot of the more advanced
And
stuff.
you can still do the same thing that I like to kind of cheat the system, where if you have like a bunch of guys who are well suited to combat or R&D in other units, you can just bump them over to the security team temporarily.
Absolutely, like it's never permanent. Like you said, you bring it over, you have them develop it, and if you want, you move it back. And that's not cheating. That's just like part of the resource management of the game.
I spent so much time just doing that. But the only problem then is like you're stuck into whatever the development time is. Like, so if it's 20 minutes, you got to wait 20 minutes to either do nothing or have your R&D team be down a bunch of guys.
Or you spend 20 minutes going and like, hitting the open world and farming mats and and having
or you can be building more FOBs.
Right.
Because that's something that we actually didn't cover, is how to actually build yourself a forward operating base. Now, this opens up later on in the story. I think it's after mission 21 or 22.
Right.
That you'll actually have the ability to build up an FOB. So it's under the base development tab, right?
Yes, correct.
And then now you've already got one built.
Right. So I have this one built, and you can see on the FOB, like we want to kind of make clear for everyone, like,
it is essentially another mother base.
It's another mother base in every way. It's not like you're paying. People are panicked right now, kind of about microtransactions, and like I understand, like being worried. Like you never want that kind of stuff.
Well,
to
you
get
don't want
gross.
anything to be locked behind some kind of paywall or
but
anything.
Like you get this first FOB completely for free, and this FOB is 100% like complete parity with like an actual mother base. So you have now all this extra room for expansion, and all this stuff costs a lot of the in-game money, just like mother base does. So I haven't even I've seen everything pretty much story-wise there is to see in this game. At this point, I've done all the main quests, all the main side quests,
and you still have a lot to do.
And I still could. There's still so much more money and resources I can spend to fully upgrade my main mother base, let alone my forward operating base, let alone having multiple ones.
And I mean, the only thing that people were a little bit worried about the microtransactions. The only thing that you really have to use that for is if you want to construct a second or a third platform, right? Which
you can do here,
right? And the currency that you need to do that with is delivered like once a week.
Well, it's once every couple of days. It's like the first you get it's a login bonus that scales. So it's like first day and third day, and then I think fifth day you also get login bonuses of coins. And it's not like a ton of coins, but if you it's going to take a long time for me to max even just my regular mother base,
right? Let
alone my forward operating base. And I can't imagine a world in which I have this maxed in an amount of time where I'm like, well, now I want another forward operating base, but I don't have enough coins.
Right.
Like, and the interesting thing about purchasing new waters and looking for new places to go, this is an interesting dynamic of the system. You can see over on the side, it shows the location and it shows the material deposits. So what's interesting about this is you can see different. Did
you build yours in the North Atlantic first?
Yeah,
Me too.
I did too.
Because I want to be able to go to Canada real easy.
Yeah, there's that, and there's also like they all have different profiles as far as like what their mineral deposits around them are. And this is like your base development unit. One of their jobs is to go around the surrounding area and just automatically at intervals procure resources for you. So what these profiles determine is how rich in deposits around you these things are. And again, to be clear, like to head off any like, oh, it's pay to win type stuff, like
it really isn't.
It really isn't. Like some of these are slightly more expensive than the others, but none of them are more functional. Like even the most expensive one, which is like, ooh, look, it has S rank in fuel in 3 things. It also has no deposits of 2 other things.
Right.
So like everything is kind of balanced in that way. Like look, this one's a good overall. It's got B's and C's and everything, but no A's or S's.
Right.
This one has S in one thing and B's in 2, but then a C and D in others.
Yeah.
All of it's very balanced. So it's not like you're gonna feel like, hey, if I want the best mother base, the best new FOB, I'm gonna have to shell out like tons of money or grind for that.
Well, no, and also realistically, by the time you're ready to build another forward operating base after, you know, building up your first one with other platforms and security forces, you're probably going to have accrued enough mother base coins on your own just by waiting for those.
Just by logging in every day and not even play. That's the thing. It's just logging in. It's like you don't even have to win or play or do anything.
You just pop into the game and then pop out if you don't want to play. But why wouldn't you want to play?
Right. And the nice thing about it too is that like, while you can't defend or invade your you can't defend your own forward operating base or invade others when you're not around.
Right.
If you happen to have gotten invaded. While, like, say you were busy doing something else and you didn't respond to it, and you still get rewards for successful defenses. So if someone tried to invade and you're and all on your own on its own strength, your defenses succeeded, you get like these are all
stuff. That's
rewards
great.
I got from that one successful defense I had. So it's cool too because you want to log in not just to get your daily rewards,
but also to pick up all the other resources that you're getting from just having the things exist.
Exactly.
Cool.
Oh, and some new volunteers as well for having a successful defense, which is pretty cool too.
Excellent.
Yeah, man.
Well, Vince, thank you so much for taking us through this ludicrously complex but amazingly fun system.
Oh yeah, cool.
I'm really excited to dive into this and really crush my friends to you know, the last of their spirit.
That's what video games are all about: destroying friendships.
Yeah. All right. Well, for everything else on destroying friendships and Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, Vince, where are we sticking around to?
Right here on IGN.